Hello soulmates, welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if you are new to this channel, you're very much welcome. In today's tutorial, I'll be teaching you how to cut and sew this beautiful dress you are seeing right now on the screen. So this is the inspiration and this is what I recreated using an Ankara fabric. So if this is a tutorial you're interested in, please like this video, drop a lovely comment, share this video with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe. Welcome guys, so let's start with the pattern drafting. So I'm labeling what I drafted over here. So this is a princess that bustier. So I have a lot of tutorial on how to draft this, so that's why I didn't bother to draft it in this video. So if you need the tutorial on how to draft a princess that bustier, so just drop it in the comment section and I will send you the link to the tutorial. So let me use a marker to rule out the important points of this pattern. So guys, after you are done with that, the next thing you will do is to measure what you have at the center front. So what you have here, after taking away the waist tightening, so whatever you have here, you will start measuring it downwards till you get to the end of your pattern. So this pattern length is my desired gown length. So whatever your gown length, whatever the gown length you want to use, so you keep rolling this line till you get to the end. So after you are done with that one, so you also measure what you have at this other part. So what you took out at the waist area, so you also measure it here. Then you also rule a line downwards to the end of this gown. So you also rule the line downwards just like this. So now let's leave that aside. Let's move over to the neckline. So for the neckline, it is a wide neckline. So for the neckline depth, it is high. So I'll be using 3 inches by 4.5. So it is 3 inches deep and I use 4.5 inches wide. So the front neckline is 3 inches deep and 4.5 inches wide. So that was what I used for my own dress. So at this armhole area, so when you are drafting a princess that bustier, it's always good to reshape this armhole in such a way that you will add 1 inch to this upper part here. So I add 1 inch extension. So when you watch the detailed tutorial, you will understand this better. So for this part here, I will fold it like this. So I want to shape the waist area. You know, there's one shape around that waist area to the center front, so I will shape this. So for me to shape this, I'm taking in the darts, you know, that space, that dart. So I'm taking it in, then I will just shape it like this. So at the center front here, you will measure 2 inches, or you can just measure 2.5 inches. So I measured almost, let's say, 2.25 inch here like this. So I'll be shaping it to that point, right there. But for you to locate this exact point, this point here, you can just measure about 3.5 inches below your waist. So let's say from your waist, just measure about 3.5 inches, then you measure 2.5 from the center front, then you shape. So that's 2.5 over there. Then you keep measuring 2.5 till the end of your pattern paper, which is the length of your dress. So for the depth of this shaping, like I said, it is 3.5 inches deep. But for the center front, this part here that the new line that I'm drawing is 2.5 inches. So it's 2.5 inches. So that was how I shaped mine. So this is what it looks like after shaping. So this is what it's looking like. So we need this part here. So that's why I'm pinning it down, because when we want to cut the fabric, we need this shape so that we can get the actual shape. so we need it. So let me just pin my pattern paper down. So if you have paper tape, you can just hold it down, but I don't have paper tape for now, so I'll use my pin to just hold it down. So I'm just taking in this dart. Please guys, if you haven't liked this video, please like this video. Thank you. Just click on that like button, please. Thank you. So now after you are done, we'll go ahead and cut our pattern paper. But for this side here, so let me just do a straight line here. The point of this pattern, this other pattern, is just this shape at the waist area. So I don't really need this side, I just need the shape at the waist area, which you will understand as we continue. So you cut out your pattern, cut out every part that needs to be cut out. Then you also cut this part too. So for this side here, I will pin it down for my side dart. So this is what my pattern looks like. So this is this other side. So guys, let's move over to the back bodice. So for this back bodice, you just need your half length, you don't need the full back bodice. So this is my half length here. So this is what I have here. So if you notice at the front, when I was drafting the princess that Bustier, I stopped at my waist area. So and you know the back waist is always like 1 inch shorter. It's always like shorter than your front. It may not be 1 inch, but it's always shorter. So just take note of that. So for my front I have 16, but for my back I have 15. I hope you get. So that when I'm joining the side together, they will align. So go ahead and measure your bust divided by 4. So at the waist, you measure your waist divided by 4. You add your dart allowance, and I'll be taking ½ inch at the zipper allowance to prevent zip bulging. So I will add it back at my waist. So let me just connect this. So let me also take out the ½ inch over here. So this is what I have. So let me go ahead now and locate where the dart will be. So for your dart, you measure your nipple to nipple measurement, and whatever you use as your zipper allowance, you add it to it. So locate the point, rule a straight line upward up to this armhole, then you draw ½ inch to both sides. So this is what mine looks like. As you can see, it is not getting to the armhole line. For the neckline at the back, I'll be using 2.5 by 4.5 inches. Though I measured 3 inches at first, which I will correct that in this video. I used 2.5 inches deep by 4.5 inches width. So the width is 4.5 and the depth is 2.5. So I've corrected it, so it's the 2.5 line that is at the top over there. So now let me go ahead and cut this out. So after cutting, this is what we have. Now let's go over to the fabric. So for the fabric, I'm using an Ankara fabric, and I used about 4 yards of Ankara. I have my lining here, I have my stay, and I have my zipper here. So these are the main thing I use. So I went ahead to cut out my fabric. So at the center front, there is a joining there. So this can be optional. You may not put joining at your center front, but I added joining to mine. Then for this other side, I just added ½ inch at the necessary part, and this is my lining also. So this is my lining. The lining is shorter than the main fabric, so just note that my lining is shorter than the main fabric. So I'll be adding states up to the waist length of this pattern. So I'll be adding states to the upper part of this fabric up to the waist area before the curve. So for the other side of the front, that's the side for the front. So this is what I have. I've added my 1.5 inches sewing allowance to the side, and I added ½ inch at the other side. And I've also went ahead to cut the lining. So this is the back pattern. So I went ahead to cut the fabric also. I've added my side allowance. I've added this joining allowance too. I went ahead to also cut the lining and the fabric. So this is what we have. So now we'll start sewing. So for this back, I'll go ahead and join it to the lining. So I'll join it to the lining. And for the front, like I said, I'm adding stay to the front. So I'm adding up to the waist area of the front. So I'll go ahead and add the stay, then I will join the side together. So I'll join the side to the center front. So after I was done, this is what I have. And I've also went ahead to also join my linings, as you can see the way I did it. So you go ahead now and join the neckline. and also the side. So I'll join the neckline and the side of this. So for the back, I've went ahead to sew this by the side and at the neckline and the zipper area. So I'll go ahead and locate my darts. So after I was done, this is what I have. So this is what the front looks like, and this is what the back looks like. So I'll go ahead and join them at the shoulder and also by the side. So you join them by the shoulder and also join them by the side. After joining, this is what I have. As you can see, the front is aligning to the back is aligning to the front. So this is what you should have. So as you can see, my princess that bustier, it is standing. So the only thing I added to it was stay, so I didn't add wording to it. So now it's time to add the gathers at the side. So I skipped a part here. I think I misplaced the clip. So for these gathers, you have to measure from your half length, that's your waist length, you measure to your desired gown length. So that's how you know the length of your gathers. So for example, now my dress length that I'm working with is 44 and my half length is 16. So 44 minus 16, I have 28. So the gathers the length of my gathers should be 28. So that's the length. But for the width of these gathers, so how to determine the gather? So what I did was, because you have to cut two gathers, so at one side, at least make sure it is times 2 of your waist, but I used times 2.5, so everything all together was times 5 of my waist. So as you can see how I did the gathers, I left some here that I did not make gathers on, but for the rest I made gathers on the rest, and this is 2. Like I said, each one is times 2.5 of my waist. So if you don't have that much fabric, you can use just times 2 of your waist. Then you leave about, let's say, 10 inches over here. So we'll be cutting this pattern that we cut out earlier when we were drafting the pattern. So we'll be cutting it right now. So what I will do now is I will divide this pattern into 2 so that I can have space in between it, so that when I make the gathers, it will get back to the original length. I don't know if you understand what I'm trying to say. So this is the pattern right now. We need to make gathers, but I will open this pattern into 2, then I will leave some space in between this, so that when I now make gathers, it will be back to the original length, the original wideness rather, of this part here. But because of this shape right here, so you have to follow the shape when you are cutting. So make sure you follow the shape when you are cutting. So just have something like this, as you can see how it is. So you leave half-inch space at this, towards the center front, where you'll be joining to the center front. You leave half-inch space, and at the upper part also you leave half-inch space, because you'll be joining this to the other part that we've sewn. So you go ahead and just trim this, then you just make gathers on it. So you make just small gathers here. So that's what I'll go ahead and do now. So after doing that, this is what I have here. So this is the other part we've sewn. So as you can see what I'm trying to achieve here. So you make this, I want mine to be very full, that's why I'm doing this. As you can see, my gathers was much, so I'll make gathers here and I'll fix it. And please, you know, there's a joining at the center front, that is the bustier joining. So make sure the gathers is starting from the bustier area, that is your gathers, where the gathers will be starting from. Let it be from this bustier area at the center front. So that bustier area, let it be from that bustier area. I will still show you very close, I'll still show you a closer view of what I'm talking about. So you go ahead and join. So after joining this side, you go ahead and also join the other side. So this under bust tightening that we did, so that line that we have at the center front, that line, that line, so that is where your gathers will start from. So after joining, this is what I have. So this is what I'm talking about. So this line at the front, so that's where the gathers will start from. So now this is the back, and we need to cover this with a lining. So I also went ahead to cut the same like I did for the fabric. I also went ahead to cut the lining. So I'll be sewing this lining in such a way that it will cover these gathers. So I will sew it in such a way that it will cover these gathers up. So when I sew this way, it will cover up the gathers like that. So that's how I will sew this. And like I said earlier, this lining is shorter than the main fabric. So when you are cutting your lining, you can take note of that. It is shorter than the main fabric. So you go ahead and sew this to the zipper area. So after doing that for both sides, this is what I have here. So this is what it looks like. As you can see that it looks very neat. So the next thing to do now is to, so now at this part here, so you go ahead and join. So this is to fix the zipper. We'll be adding a zipper at the back, so you can just measure 8 inches from your waist downward, then you join. So after fixing the zipper, this is what I have here. So now it's time to make our cap sleeve. So now we measure what you have at your armhole. Make sure that this armhole is perfect for you. So this is my perfect armhole, and I measure round. I have about 7 to 7.5. So this is my fabric here, and I folded it into two. So make sure this is covering your, that's your, the armhole you measured, at least times two. So now we'll go ahead and draft this. So when I'm drafting my cap sleeve, I just do freehand drafting. So for the length of the cap sleeve, initially I used 3.5, but at the end of the day I used 2 inches. So 2 inches is enough for the cap sleeve. So 2 inches is enough. Just add half inch for the joining allowance to the armhole, then you are good to go. So make sure that this curve you are creating here will capture your armhole, that armhole we measured earlier. As you can see that it will be enough for the armhole. So that's the armhole. So for the cap sleeve opening, you can just use your round measurements. Just add maybe just 1 inch to it. So my own round measurement is 10. So as you can see that I'm measuring about 6.5 inches here. So that's what I did there. So now, like I said, this cap sleeve was too big for me, so I reduced it later. So instead of using this 3.5 that I measured here, so I end up using 2 inches for the length of the cap sleeve. So it is 2 inches. As you can see that the cap sleeve on the outfit is very small, very small. So I've cut out two of these, then I'll go ahead and fix it to my armhole. So when you are fixing, it's always good to start from this shoulder joining. You start from the shoulder joining round, and you do the same thing for the other side too. So you start from the shoulder joining to the armhole, that's the under the armhole, then you do the same thing too for the other side when you are joining. So when you want to join this cap sleeve, you join from the shoulder to underneath the armhole from both points. That is from one shoulder point to the armhole, to underneath the armhole, then to the second part too. I hope you understand. So let me say this again. This cap sleeve that I use, it was quite big, so I still reduced it. And this is what the sleeve looks like. As you can see that the sleeve is looking very small on it. So that's the aim of the sleeve. So for the hem line of this dress, I went ahead to hem it. So in case you want to know that, I went ahead to hem it with my hemming allowance that I added, and this is what the dress looks like. So this dress came out perfect, like perfect. So if you follow this procedure, I can guarantee you that you will come out with a perfect dress. So thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to this channel, please subscribe to this channel. Please like this video, drop a lovely comment for me in the comment section, share this video with your friends, and I will see you in my next tutorial. So thank you so much for watching. Bye.